Hi and welcome back to my channel. It's Sunday the 4th of May and it's around 10 a.m. I want to thank everybody who said that they hoped I would soon feel better and say that I am feeling about 50% better and on the mend. Right, we'll kick off with what's for the basket. This week it's a tin of Kingfisher shredded crab in brine, which is free on plan. Of course it has to be free on plan to go in the basket. Yeah, just thought it would be something different, especially with warmer summery weather and people wanting to eat more salady things. And you could throw this over a salad with some king prawns and it would be lovely, if you like salad. I like this and I like king prawns, but I don't like salad. So, but lots of people do. Right, my word of affirmation this week is abstain, and I'll go on to tell you why it's abstain. But first of all, a couple of weeks ago a lady asked, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name without looking, but a lady asked on my comments would I be willing to share, what I eat in a day or something like that. Well, I have this really strong opinion, as I do about most things. If I said to you for a whole week, you should eat what I eat, or I should eat what you eat, you would not get the same results as me. You might get better, you might get worse, purely because you are not me. Your body doesn't function in the same way as mine does. So I have this real strong opinion about we should not necessarily copy what one another eats, like on a daily basis. I know a lot of people are following Claire Abresse, and she has fantastic results and she's a great cook and she comes up with really, interesting meals and everything. But I can honestly say I couldn't eat the way Claire eats because I don't have a sweet tooth. But it works for her. Back to basic, Laura, Kath, they do lots of cooking videos. If you want to see Slimming World meals, go ahead and watch them. You probably already do. Lisa and Rufus, they do a lot of, choose a different meal from the suggestions that we make, and then, we'll show you how we cooked it, and they put up videos of different meals that they've made. If you want to look for what people are eating on Slimming World, there are loads and loads of people out there who are much more creative, much more culinary than I am. But I will share what I ate yesterday because it's still in my mind. So I got up yesterday morning, thought I ought to have some breakfast because we've got a pretty busy morning, so I had 2 scrambled Burford brown eggs. For my lunch, I wasn't particularly hungry, but I had 4 original Ryvitas topped with 250 grams, so a whole tub of Longley Farm full fat cottage cheese. I never eat low fat anything really, so that's 5 sins. So that went on my Ryvitas, so 50 grams on each Ryvita, and then I finished the other 50 grams from the tub. And with that I had, I don't know if it was 10 or 12 of the big pickled giant garlics, the big elephant garlics, and then I had a tub of watermelon. So the Ryvitas were my healthy extra B choice. For my healthy extra A choice, I had 2 lots of 300 mils of creamy oat milk from Lidl, so 600 mils in total, which I split over 4 big milky coffees during the day. I don't eat between meals, but at tea time I had a big bowl of salad made up from quinoa, rice, sweet potato, shredded red cabbage, shredded carrots, a shredded baby cucumber, which Joe shreds with a little shredder, topped with giant king prawns from Waitrose, and Mary Rose sauce for 5.5 sins. So that I had my sin count at that point at 10.5. Then I had a larger tub of watermelon from Lidl and a peanut hi-fi bar for 3 sins. So for the day I had 1 B, 2 A's, 13.5 sins. Now for some people that would be enough food, for some people it wouldn't be enough food. And for me at the moment, when I'm still not well, it's plenty. Because what I do is keep my carbs up. That's where I get my energy from. So yeah, that was yesterday's food. My word of affirmation is abstain. That gets £10 for the children's toy appeal at Salvation Army. Why do I abstain? I abstain because that's the kind of personality I have. I'm an all or nothing person. I cannot do moderation. I cannot... It's the way my mind works. My mind is always on the go. So if I try to moderate things by saying to myself, okay, here you are, Jane, you've got your A choices, you've got your B choice, you've got your 15 sins, which people keep reminding me, you don't have to eat 15 sins, but if I can, I will, because I use it in my meal. I use my sins in my meals. I can have that and be on plan, but if my head was such that I was saying to myself, okay, don't put your 15 sins in your meals, Jane. Take your 15 sins and make a sin box, a sin bag or a sin basket for tonight. Okay, so I'm making, in my head, I'm making this sin basket or whatever for my 15 sins. And I'm doing this at 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm making my first cup of coffee or whatever. My head would then be full of it. Okay, I've put in a Freddo, I've put in a packet of Quavers, I've put in a this or this. And oh, I've got one sin left, what can I use that for? Oh, I found this, I've done it. It's ready for tonight. But it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm already obsessing about it because I've got that kind of mind. I can obsess about anything. So I'd spend the whole day, probably not have breakfast because I would say probably 4 days out of 7 I don't because I'm not hungry. But because I wasn't hungry and I wasn't having breakfast, my mind would be playing with this basket. Then I get through the morning doing what I have to do, and I get to lunchtime and I'm like, oh, I can't put any Mary Rose dressing on my meal. I haven't got the 5.5 sins for it because they're in the basket for tonight. Oh, woe is me, what the hell am I going to do? Oh, it's all right, I'll eat it without the dressing. But then I'm not going to enjoy it. So then I'm obsessed with what I'm going to do tonight, but I'm also very resentful about what I can't have here and now. So I carry on. I've used my B choice on 5 Ravitas. I get to tea time. I'm looking at my meal thinking, well, where's the inspiration in that? There's nothing there that's going to like tart it up or taste it up. There's nothing there that's going to make it inspiring or exciting. Oh, don't worry, just eat it. It's diet food, just eat it. So I'd eat it and then I'd think, I'd actually like a peanut hi-fi bar or two. Can't. You've got no sins. Your sins are all in a basket for later. So I'm at 5 o'clock, I'm having my tea and I'm obsessing about this bloody basket of what? Junk? And I've spent the whole day thinking about nothing else, which has put my brain back into diet mode, which does not suit me to be. I will fall off the wagon as quick as wink if I am thinking about dieting. I am the world's worst dieter. I can't do it. I've proved that over the last 50 years. I cannot live on a diet. So it's 5 o'clock, I've had my tea, I'm resentful because I couldn't have my peanut hi-fi bars, I couldn't have any Mary Rose sauce or what's the other one I like, Joe, the sesame seed and miso, whatever. Couldn't have any of that, didn't have sins. And then what time am I going to have my basket? It's 5:10 now and I'm tired. Oh God, can I hang on till 6 o'clock? Well really, ideally you could hang on till 7. I can't. And I would get myself into such a state that by the time I could have this basket of junk, I'd want 4 baskets of junk or 6 baskets of junk. And believe me, when I say I can binge, I could binge you under the table, all of you, even if you stood in a row, because I have no stop button. So once I've triggered that want, that need, that desire to eat junk, I have no way of stopping it. And I know some of you will relate to this. I know some of you won't because you're not all binge eaters. But I am a diagnosed compulsive overeater and binge eater. I didn't really need the diagnosis because I always knew I was. And the only way I can live my life today in freedom is by saying no to all of that and abstaining from the things that actually kick me into it. So sugar, no, not for me. But you know what is nice? The longer I've stayed away from sugar, I find simple things now to be sweet in a different kind of way. Not that artificially quick fix, wham, it's got sugar in it. Or even artificial sweetness, because I don't really do artificial sweetness. Although this week I've been drinking diet Vimto because I've needed more cold, excuse me, I've needed more cold drinks. And Joe's been making me smart water bottles and just topping them up with a bit of diet Vimto so I can drink 4 bottles a day. And that's been okay, but I've kept saying to him, make it weaker. Can you make it a bit weaker? It's too sweet. Can you make it a bit weaker? Because things to me today are so very sweet. Even if I was to crunch on something like iceberg lettuce, I find that sweet. I had the new Slimming World cottage pie in the Slimming World range. Didn't like it. It was too sweet. So I'm finding things sweet that are usually savoury. And anything that is artificially sweetened or sweetened with lots of sugars and things, too sweet. And the only reason that is happening is because I abstain from sugar. If I was an alcoholic, right, and I said to you, you know, I can moderate this. I've got friends who are alcoholics who've been down this road. God bless them. I can moderate this. I'm not going to drink vodka anymore. I'm going to drink cider. So I smile because not for me to judge. If you're an alcoholic, you cannot cope with alcohol. It's not you cannot cope with vodka or you cannot cope with whiskey. You cannot cope with alcohol, the poison of alcohol and what it does to your mind. Well, for me, read sugar, because I cannot cope with sugar and the poison of sugar and what it does to my mind. And life is so much better without it, because it clears space in my head for logical thinking instead of stinking thinking. And it clears space in my life for physical activity instead of just sitting in a chair stewing over something I think I can't change. But I finally learned that I can change it. I have the power to change it. And the power comes from simply saying no thank you. And if I went to somebody's house today for coffee this morning and they bring out a huge coffee and walnut cake, which would have been my go-to, I would say no thank you, because I'm really aware of what that can do to me. And I don't want to go back there. One of the things I was talking to Joe about earlier is scratching an itch. So I'm going through the day and something's niggling at the back of my mind saying, you know, why don't you have a whatever? So it's a craving, for want of a better word. Why don't you have a biscuit? Why don't you have whatever it is that you might be craving? Right, I've got 2 choices. It's like having an itch. You know, do you remember when you were a kid and you had chicken pox and your mum said, don't scratch those spots, because you scratch the scab off, you'll get a scar. And for me, scratching the scab off is taking the first bite. And for me, all the stretch marks on my body and the wobbly bits are the scars. Because I could never stop scratching the itch. Today I can. Because I know that if I scratch the itch, it just gets worse. So one day at a time, I choose not to. I choose not to scratch that itch because I understand the consequences. And I understand the only person who is going to struggle with those consequences and pay for those consequences is me. It's not going to be Joe or my husband or my mum or my brother or any of you. It's not going to affect your weight. It might not even affect my weight if I scratched an itch and ate 2 or 3 biscuits. But what it would affect is my peace of mind, because I would be selling my peace of mind down the river for a couple of biscuits. And the worrying thing for me is once I do that, once I scratch that itch and sell my peace of mind down the river, I have no idea at all when I could get it back. And people say, you know, where's your mojo? Use your mojo, find your mojo. Well, I've never had one of those and I don't want one. Willpower. Everybody has willpower when they're in a really good place. When life is easy, when the sun's shining and it's all going well, and you think to yourself, oh, the sun's shining, I'm going to go and put that outfit on, and it fits. You've got willpower. But when the sun's shining and you go to put that outfit on and it's too tight, your willpower goes back in the wardrobe with the outfit. It's too fragile. So for me, forget the mojo, forget the willpower, choose the action of saying no and making better choices. And the food I'm eating today is of so much better quality than the food I would eat if I wasn't on plan, that I feel better. So even though I'm ill, still poorly, just finished some antibiotics and still feeling crap, I actually feel within myself that inner person is positive and proactive and happy and grateful and all of those things, because I'm not stuffing my body full of rubbish. Now, I can't be one of these people who can have a goodie drawer in the kitchen, you know, where you've got packets of this and boxes of that and bars of this and tubes of that, because I could go and polish that drawer off in 20 minutes if the mood took me. I'm not going to give myself stumbling blocks. I love being on this plan. I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I feel my lifestyle has changed completely because I am not obsessing about food every day, all day, even in my sleep. Now, something I'm going to touch on here, and I'm not saying I'm for it or against it, but people talk about food noise. And I know what that is. I've experienced that most of my life. And I hear a lot of people say on different YouTube channels, you know, that these new, what they call GLP-1 drugs like Manjaro and that take away the food noise. Well, I'm here to say, Working Slimming World, 100%, according to the book, and putting the right food into your body also takes away the food noise. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Now, I'm not knocking these drugs for people who are diabetic and need them, but they're not the amazing weight loss drug that I think they're being sold as. Because if you stop and realistically think about it, it's like any other diet. If we're on Cambridge, if we're on Slimming World, if we're on Weight Watchers, if we're on whatever they are, New You, New Me, whoever, the minute you stop doing it, the weight will come back. They're already saying this about the GLP-1 drugs. The minute you stop taking them and you revert to eating and experiencing the food noise again, the weight will come back. And when it comes back, like I learned on Slimming World when I went through this difficult patch, when it comes back bloody quick. And it comes back more than you think. I mean, I really thought I'd gained 2 or 3 stone and discovered I'd gained 4 or 5. It comes back that fast. So I want to stick with Slimming World today and always. Eating the way I'm eating now, being able to abstain from the foods that I know are dangerous for me, and being grateful for the fact that I am never hungry and I don't have food noise. I would encourage anybody, before you try these drugs, or even if you're on them, come to Slimming World and take it seriously. Don't come and sit in group and make jokes about, it's my uncle's brother's wife's cousin's mother's birthday, so I have to eat. Don't make all those old jokes. We've all made them. Come, sit in the meetings and take it seriously, because it's for you. It's not for anybody else. The only person who this excess, uncomfortable weight affects on a daily basis is me. I can't change your life, but I can tell you what's working for me. And I can encourage you to give it a go, but come back with the attitude that this time it will work. You may say, like I've said, done it so many times, didn't work, whatever. Come back believing in it. Read your book, stick to your book. You can do the body magic if you want to, but I don't think that's crucial. I know people who've lost 10 plus stones and never done any body magic because they've got jobs where they're sitting in a desk all day. It's the food that makes the difference, because you cannot out-exercise a bad plan. So you can do the gym, the running, the squatting, the everything, and then come back hungry and feed your face. You won't lose weight. But you can stick to plan and thoroughly enjoy your food. And then, as Joe says, you're not chasing the weight loss will chase you. So I did that this week. I stuck to plan. I pushed through having that awful hay fever and a really bad cough and cold and God knows what I had. I've had antibiotics all week, which have made me feel crap. But when I went to group on Tuesday, I stood on the scales and lost 2 pounds. The weight loss is chasing me. I don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday when I go and get weighed in again, but whatever happens, I'll be fine with it, because I know I'm doing my part. Absolutely love this plan. I think that probably comes over. But yeah, that's my week in a nutshell, and it's been a good one. So take care everybody, and we will see you next weekend. Cheers.